Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first AST Podcast. What we thought we'll do is there's been lots happening in the footballing world, so we thought we'll just switch the sort of recording device on and just give you a bit of a verbal update because we are kind of struggling for meeting dates and stuff with all the football going on. So I've got Tim with me and we'll both sort of cover what's been happening. So Tim, broadcasting issue, pay-per-view, it's all as we look at our timeline on Twitter now, it's all happening. You know, how's it all come about?
Well, it's come about as a result of the Premier League deciding that they would introduce a £14.95 pay-per-view charge for those games which don't fall within the ordinary subscription packages which BT and Sky show of the games. It's roughly 5 out of 10 games every weekend will fit within the existing packages, and then there are 5 games left over. That creates an issue during a pandemic when no supporters are allowed into the stadium to watch those games. And up until now, they have addressed that by making some of the games free to air and adding some of the games inside the existing packages that BT and Sky have. And I think most fans have felt that that's been a fair way of moving forward. The introduction of this charge has united lots of fans, I think, in thinking that it's just too high. It's an unfair cost during a pandemic when many people are struggling, but it's also a disproportionate price compared to what if you work out, the cost of a Now TV pass that for £10 of it will give you several games, or Netflix for £12, or try and work out a sort of average cost of a game within your Sky subscription, and none of those come anywhere near a unit price of £14.95. So there's been lots of outrage and lots of coordinated activity against it.
Yeah, and plus on Now TV, you also get sort of other sports included in that £10. So I mean, obviously I know the answer to this, but for our members, I mean, what have we done? You know, there's been lots with the FSA, with other supporter groups. We've talked to Sky, we've talked to Arsenal. Just give a brief overview.
Well, we contacted Vinay Vinetskam, the Arsenal chief executive, to express our opposition to this and also to challenge why he voted for this, because Arsenal voted for this along with 19 other Premier League clubs. Only Leicester City voted against. And it appears that what happened here is there was a very sort of, perhaps you call it rushed decision-making process, where the clubs had asked the Premier League to come up with a way of securing some income for these extra games. And I don't dispute that that's something for the clubs to discuss. They're losing a lot of income at the moment. And, these games aren't normally available on television. But, as we've already made clear, £14.95 is far too much. So we could not have emphasised to Vinay enough our opposition to the price point. And I think, to give a fair reflection, I think he has acknowledged that and has said that will be fed into his thinking when looking at the next round of broadcast fixtures and what they do, which is from the week commencing the 8th of November. So that's what we did with Arsenal. We've then coordinated activity with the Football Supporters Association, who have issued some good press releases and talked to politicians, and also led and joined in with some activity about urging people to consider not paying the pay-per-view price, but instead to make a charity donation. And that's something we're seeing happening across all the football groups at the moment.
Yeah, I think just on that sort of charity stuff, I mean, it's obviously we initially got approached by quite a few members on social media and also via email to kind of ask that if we don't want to pay, then is there somewhere we can donate? So we thought getting some sort of a partnership is smart. So Islington Giving is somewhere we've helped before. We at the start of the pandemic, we donated some money to them from the AST, and I think we also donated a couple of our speakers' fees, because the majority of the speakers we've had this year have obviously donated their fee sort of back to us, which we've then given to charity. So Islington Giving are a great local charity. They organise things like food banks, they do youth projects, they help the isolated elderly community, which obviously have suffered massively in the last 6 to 8 months. So there's lots of kind of community kind of things there, and the Arsenal Foundation are a big supporter of them and work with them as well. So we thought it's a great cause. As we kind of look at this at about 2 p.m. on a Thursday, we've raised about £6,000. And when I say we, I don't mean the AST, I mean Arsenal fans, because it is all Arsenal fans that have donated. There's about £6,000 that have been raised within 24 hours. And I'm sure that's going to keep going up until Sunday. So it's a really big effort. And I think it showed me that actually fans are passionate about this, potentially don't mind paying if the value's there, but they're not a cash cow. So the partnership's great, and that charity are really going to kind of, they're chuffed a bit. So they've sent me several emails. They're really happy. So then on the 8th of November, I guess, once the review happens, what's the next steps then? What should fans start to think about?
Well, what the AST is doing now is we've established a dialogue with the managing director of Sky Sports, and we've also sent some communication to BT or had no response. And we're urging a major rethink on this. It's damaging their brand. It's not looking good for the football family, and it's clearly a price point that is far too high. So I think what we would like to see is either a much lower price point. You're perhaps talking about around about maybe £5 for a game, or or go back to the old approach, which was to make it available within the existing packages, particularly as most of the country heads into tier 2 and tier 3. People have to stay at home, and there's almost a public service element of the Premier League making the games available, and also in a way that doesn't force people perhaps to meet up in each other's houses or go to hospitality venues which aren't really allowed to show them, or certainly not show them to any more than the family group. There might also be a better way. Certainly personally, I can see that maybe £10 for a bundle of games is fairer than £15 for just one. Is that bundle the 5 games at the weekend, including Arsenal? Do I pay £25 for the next 5 Arsenal games on pay-per-view? Those are things that should be thought about. And there's one other important consideration. All of those who are season ticket holders or silver members or other forms of memberships with the club have all put money into Arsenal for this season. Initial payments by season ticket holders or membership fees for the other categories. And we haven't received anything for that service yet. And you'd like to think that maybe there could be discounts offered or some free sign-ins to the first pay-per-view games. So we will continue to put pressure on Arsenal and to put pressure on Sky and the Premier League to come up with a fairer pay-per-view and broadcast option for Arsenal fans and for all football fans.
Yeah, so I think the message is quite clear that we're saying no to £15, obviously something lower, and obviously it's a little bit, there's more value, and obviously there are production costs, I guess. And I think as football fans, we all understand that, but we just all feel that £15 is just way, way too much. And seeing the reaction we've had over the last couple of days, I think 95% of the fan base agrees. So cool. So we will continue to update members. Keep an eye on your emails for your newsletters. We'll continue to update Twitter with the kind of rolling amount. We'll probably update daily or so, just to let you know how much has been raised, because it does build a story. And we are looking at dates for our next kind of virtual meeting, because we do want to cover this in more detail, along with kind of Project Big Picture and all the other stuff that has been kind of going on as well. So we are looking at the football calendar, which looks very, very full. I think in the summer we did say, didn't we, that this season is going to be a little bit busy, and we weren't wrong. So hopefully we'll get some details to you soon. So thank you. Stay safe, and I was going to say enjoy the game, but I mean, people might not be watching it. Certainly not through traditional means.
Don't forget, everybody who feels they can, and it doesn't need to be a £15 contribution. A £1 contribution still makes a difference to Islington Giving, and we will count every individual person who's donated as well as the amount. So the more numbers of people that have made a donation sends an important message back to the game that you're not happy with this charge. So thank you to everyone who's donated already. And if you haven't done so, please consider standing up against pay-per-view at £15 and helping Islington Giving.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Speak soon. Thank you.